Hello everybody and welcome to Stormy Coasters. Today I'm going to be telling you a few tips and tricks in order to save a lot of time while you're waiting in lines at amusement parks. And you'll be able to have a much better time at the parks. Anyways, let's start the video. Starting off, the first thing I have to say is get to the park at least 30 minutes to an hour before park opening. And if it's a more popular park, you might want to get there a little bit earlier than that. This will ensure that you have time to put sunscreen on and do anything else that you must do before entering the park. I'd also recommend eating a big breakfast before visiting the park and using the restroom before you leave home. Anyways, what you're going to want to also do is make sure that you're hydrated before entering the park. Also, make sure that you get into the line of the park before most other people do, so that you're one of the first ones in the park. Also, you are going to want to bring your own water bottle into the park. That way, you don't have to wait in extremely long water lines. If you are one of the first people in the park, you're going to want to head towards the roller coaster that is closest to the front of the park. But only do this if you are the first one into the park, or like the first 5 or 6 or whatever. Otherwise, head to the middle of the park and ride all of those rides, and then work your way to the back of the park. The majority of people, when they visit amusement parks, they will head towards the first ride, or the first major big ride that they see, and the lines at the front will be extremely long at the beginning of the day. For instance, if you visit Kentucky Canyon, ride Thunder Run first, and it will have a pretty short line. Then ride Roller Skater, then Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser hardly gets a line for the first few hours of park opening, so I generally take advantage of this and ride quite a few times while nobody's over there. Anyways, Kentucky Flyer almost never gets a line, so go ride that. Then head toward the front and ride Lightning Run. So definitely make sure that you start in the middle and head toward the back, as it will keep you away from those big crowds. If you're at an amusement park, you basically want to do different things than what the majority of people are doing. The next thing that you're going to want to consider is when to eat your meals. You're going to want to eat your meals when it is not mealtime. That way you can eat without waiting in majorly long lines to eat. And you want to ride the rides during the meal times. Anyways, avoid eating lunch at amusement parks between 11 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Or else you'll be caught in some very intense long lunch lines. And also avoid eating dinner between 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. And like I said, never eat meals during meal times. Also, I'd recommend eating a big breakfast before you go to the park, like I said at the beginning of the video. Next up, we're going to be talking about shows. If you are at a major amusement park such as Walt Disney World or some Disney park, or there's just even a fireworks show, I would not recommend watching the parades or shows during their scheduled times, as it will be very crowded. But also, the rides will generally not have long lines at all during parades or popular shows. So riding the rides would be a great decision for when there's almost nobody riding them. And you can ride almost as much as you want if you go during, especially a Disney parade or something. Merchandise is one thing that most guests are probably going to want to look at or buy. When you visit an amusement park, you're going to want to buy any merchandise toward the beginning of the day or the middle of the day. The end of the day will have crowded merchandise stores, and a lot of amusement parks shut down their gift shops before the park closes, so waiting until last minute to buy your collectibles is not an extremely good idea. If it rains or storms while you're visiting, stay in the park. Do some dark rides or eat at a restaurant, but don't leave the park at all. Most people, when it rains, will leave the park, and most of the time, the rain will stop after maybe an hour. So you'll have the whole park to yourself and whoever else decided to stay. It's mostly coaster enthusiasts who will stay in the park after it rains, And if you're another coaster enthusiast, you'll most likely have a great time riding the best coaster in the park together. Around 2 o'clock p.m. every day, the lines generally equalize throughout the park, so your favorite ride or rides for pretty much any time after 2 p.m. is okay to ride, other than maybe dinner time, or when you eat dinner. Because again, don't eat meals during meal times. Anyways, before visiting an amusement park, make sure to do some intense researching on it. That way you know exactly where to go and at what time to do it. This includes looking at amusement park maps, including, again, the park maps, Google Maps / satellite image maps, and that way you'll get an accurate and estimated idea of where every ride is in the park. Anyways, that's about it for all of the tips that I have for you. Now, if you have any tips for me when visiting amusement parks, please let me know down in the comments below. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you enjoyed. If you found this video useful, please subscribe to Storming Coasters and like this video. Be sure to have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody.